Hey guys, welcome back to another Preset Biz remake video. So in today's video we're going to be remaking Side Effect by Alok, which was requested a couple of times. So in today's video we're going to cover the verses, and you definitely don't want to miss Friday's video because we're going to jump into the chorus where it's a super unique production. You've got all sorts of weird automations going on in the chorus. But let's jump into Phil and see what we do today. So I decided to start things off with the re-space, and this is the MIDI I've got for it. So this sound consists of two presets. I've got a Reese bass called Reese I Don't, and then this bass sound called Storm, which you can get in Synth Pop Vol.1. And so the two together with the vocal make this. So confused. I know what you didn't do. You still want... So now we have these brassy synth sounds, which I've decided to cover next. So these are the MIDI that have been played for it. So the preset's called 80s Brass, and you can get this in Synth Pop Vol.1. And the important part in this sound is actually in this little tweak I did here. So basically I used the velocity as a modulator on the cutoff and the volume as well. So basically all the soft notes sound really muffled. And then we've also got some automation here on the cutoff, which slowly opens up as the whole verse goes on. So this is everything so far. So confused. I know what you didn't do. You still wanna... I'm now going to introduce some claps and some other drums as well, but we're going to start with the clap here, which I've got from Car Music Volume 3. A really simple short decade clap. So confused. And then we've got these hi-hats which are introduced, and this first hi-hat plays a bit more of like a ticky, rhythmic tambourine shaker loop. So then I've also got some accent ones here every so often. So overall this is what we have. So we've then got a sweep sound from Main Stage Vol.1, which just swells nicely into this build section here. And then to accompany that transition, I've got this cinematic impact here from Main Stage Vol.1 as well. So we start this part here with the organ bass, and this is quite a staccato kind of MIDI pattern. So you'll see here it's really short notes, but it really gives you that kind of bouncy vibe. The first preset I'm using on this sound is a bass called Heart, which you can get in Piano House Vol.1. This is a really, really good FM kind of bass. And essentially this is how it sounds. And then I've also grabbed the M1 plugin, which is kind of essential to this record because you've got that organ bass sound, just like a classic UK house kind of sound. And I couldn't really find any presets that did that, so I just went for the M1. This is the house split preset, and this is how the two presets sound. So here's what we have so far with the bass and the impact and claps. So to kind of tie all of this in, I've added in a pad which just establishes the chords a little bit, gives you a bit more of like a vibe, as I've described it on there, a vibe pad. And then I noticed this really subtle part of the production, which is this brass sound, and it follows the melody of the vocal, so it's kind of accompanying the vocal and just emphasising that melody. The preset's called 80s Brass, and you can get that again in Synth Pop Vol.1. And then as we get into the build section here, on this part here, I've introduced all of the hi-hats again from the previous section, and these just give it a lot more rhythm and energy over here. So another sound I noticed, which is really, really subtle in the mix, is a piano sound that comes in on this build part here. So what I've done is just create some basic chords, and I don't think there's anything really more to them. They're just pretty standard major chords. Now we also have this sequenced kind of ARP sound here that comes in on the build section as well. So this is the MIDI for it, and this is how it sounds on its own. Preset's called Tackinator, which is a pluck you can get from Main Stage Vol.1. Next up we've got this snare sound which comes in, and this is quite a nice trick doing it in the piano roll, because what you can do is just automate everything. So you can automate the velocity, filter cutoff as well, which I've done. So it's a really nice way of kind of keeping your projects organised, just doing it all within the piano roll. So this is how it sounds in the mix. So now the last production elements are just kind of little sweeps and effects on the master. So here I've got a Main Stage Vol.1 white noise sweep. And then I've also got an endless smile, which is just drowning out all the low end. So this is actually all of the production so far for the verse and the builds. But make sure you're tuning back in on Friday because you don't want to miss that part where we do all of the weird bass sounds and lead sounds. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you smash the like button, hit subscribe if you're not already part of the channel, and let's go and take a quick listen back to what we did today.
So confused. I know what you didn't do. You still wanna play your games. I am wiser, I have changed. Chatting out the jokes on you. It's a side effect of love to lose control. Just to realize you're better on your own. It's a side effect of love to want it all. You can't get enough of it. It's the side